Oh shit, we've got a banger for Thursday Night Football. It's not just one of those games where you got two big teams. It's one of those games where you have two big teams with all kinds of punts that could go off. Fuck, I love these games. Gotta love these games. No Will Disley tonight, motherfather. Well, I guess I should say tomorrow night. Maybe you're watching this Thursday. I'm recording this late Wednesday. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate 75. What you don't know about me is I'm a high-limit DFS player that's trying to help you get better at this shit, because if you don't know, this shit be hard. And I have a good friend that helps me with all this stuff that's really good at Showdown and has a lot of success. And I think by almost all metrics, we would be considered sharps or sharks at DFS. Wherever the fuck you want to call it, it's basically the same term. So I want you to know, we do these breakdowns every Monday and Thursday for the primetime games, and then every Tuesday we do a week-long preview, and every Saturday we do an end of the week, get your shit ready, lock your lineups in, let's kick some ass tomorrow, and then every Sunday I be streaming this shit live, so come check me out Sunday. Without further ado, we're going to jump straight in. I bring to you my good friend. His name is JohnGaltJD. How you doing, brother?
What's up? How are you doing?
I
That was some energy.
I got a lot of, there's a little too much ranch water in the system. Don't forget, we're only like an hour and a half removed from the Gulf stream that I just did, and a couple people said I was in rare form tonight. So whatever the fuck that means. So
I'm only halfway through that episode, but it's good. I like it so far.
I think I brought my A game. There's no off season in golf for me, motherfathers. Okay.
I'll let you know on Sunday how my lineups turn out.
Good. If they hit, I do accept a 20% commission. It's in. You got to read the fine print before you watch my shows. It's in there.
I never clicked the fine print on YouTube.
Yep. That's where I get people. It's the fine print. So we got a good game tomorrow. Fuck. After what was that? The Monday night game that we did. It was the Seahawks versus the Broncos. That was a rough game. Not one I was excited about. I love these shootout games so much more. I feel like there's so much more nuance and strategy to incorporate. What is your take on just the general when you have two big high scoring offenses versus when you have, like kind of two slapdick teams like we had the other night?
Oh, as a fan, I much prefer to watch these games. In terms of building showdown lineups, I'm usually down either way. I think there's kind of more opportunity in the games that everyone thinks are going to go one way to play a alternate game script. But like looking at this one, I know everyone thinks this is just going to be, like you said, a banger shootout. And I kind of agree. I just don't see a game script where this is a slog. So I am hesitant to say I like these showdown slates in terms of playing showdown, because I think the field and I will generally align in terms of game script.
Am I really seeing it right that there's a 58-point over-under in this game? Did I just no, 54. Did I add that up right? 25 plus 20. No, that's I'm sorry.
It's 54.5.
54.5,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Sorry, first time doing math. I play DFS. I'm not a fucking math teacher. So 54.5, which, by the way, is fucking really high. That's got to be the highest total on this week, right?
Oh, definitely the highest total game, and of course not on main slate.
Kind of the threshold is when you get over 50, like your ears start to perk up, and when you get over 53, your dick starts to perk up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, if this was on main slate, this would be the game everyone would be highlighting.
Yes, absolutely. But it's not. It's on Showdown, and the strategy of that is so much different. To me, when I'm playing a main slate where there's 13 teams, I'm not even considering somebody like Hardman, because it's just so rare that he's going to go off to be a nuts play on a main slate. But on a slate like this, somebody like Carter or somebody like Sky Moore, they end up becoming the nuts play significantly often.
Yeah, absolutely. It only takes like one spike play, and they're optimal at a low salary. So this one's actually more interesting because we lose Keenan Allen, so we have some target share availability for the Chargers.
Yeah, and the real question to me is it going to be Palmer or is it going to be Carter? Or if you really want a sneaky one, whatever happened to Guyton? Like I thought he was their fourth receiver, and then somehow Carter supplanted him as the fourth receiver.
Yeah, Guyton's a speedster, so if they're trying to replace that, spread the field, maybe they do get Guyton some run. I think Joshua Palmer steps in, or at least how I drafted my best ball teams, damn it, thinks Joshua Palmer's going to step in and play the 2 to Mike Williams 1. So, yeah, we'll see.
How concerned are you about Austin Eckler? He was not very involved week 1, brother. And that salary of $10,200, I need a guy that's on the field legit 75% of the time minimum.
Yeah, he split carries with the other two backs kind of in that committee, with him definitely leading the committee, but definitely splitting more than you want to see for a $10,000 back. That said, if Allen's targets are going to go somewhere else, maybe some of them go to Eckler and he can pay off that salary, but that's an expensive ass salary. There's a
Is this
lot of
one of
other
those things?
options.
Is this one of those things where like they're gonna like share it, like split the carries, split the carries, split the carries, and then towards the end of the year they'll really start to just like let Eckler free and give him, 80% of the run on the plays because they wanted to keep him free for the the key games at the end of the season. Is that what this is going to end up being?
I mean, that would totally make sense. That would be a chance to keep him fresh and limit injury opportunities. I mean, every play's an injury opportunity, but limit those players and limit the wear and tear on them for keep them healthy, grind them during the playoffs, or the run up to the playoffs.
All right. I think the most logical place to start is I'm going to ask you a question, just a simple over-under, right? We're a couple sports bettors, so here's your over-under. Patrick Mahomes, over-under, 100% ownership.
He'll be slightly under, but it
Just
will
slightly
not
though,
be
right?
far off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be gross. Probably deservedly so, though.
By the way, right here you can see on Run the Sims. Right now we just have the generic protection. By the way, if you're wondering if you're not using tools when you make these things, shame on you. Me and John, we use Run the Sims. We have a partnership with them. Go put in the code DEGEN75 DEGEN75. It'll get you 10% off and try it out. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to Showdown, this shit's the nuts. You can go input your own stuff. We're just using the generic ones. But if you think that the Chargers are going to score 31 and the Chiefs are going to score 21, well then you go input those and you're going to get very different numbers. Or if you think they're going to be at a different pace or at a different rush rate, you go input those numbers. So go check that out. Run the Sims, not cut the Sims. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's really hard to envision a lineup that wins this showdown and doesn't have Patrick Mahomes in it. Give me a game script in which Patrick Mahomes doesn't get there. I would love to hear it from a man who's taken down some GPPs before.
Well, so I guess his salary is the only thing that makes it possible he doesn't get there. I mean, I guess you could always have an outlier fluke game where, whatever. I don't want to wish injury on anybody, but barring that kind of ridiculous fluke type stuff, his salary could make it where if Herbert stacks outscore Mahomes stacks by a few points. So you have like a Herbert Williams stack, which is 20,200. Versus Mahomes Kelsey stack is 22,800.
Pretty significant difference. Pretty significant.
Yeah, exactly.
Difference.
And so if the Charger side of that coin outscores the Chiefs side of that coin, you won't be able to get all those players in. You'll just be cut out salary wise, unless an uber cheapie gets there. Like if Trey McKitty catches one pass for 60 yards and a touchdown, and suddenly you're able to like hit an optimal with a super cheapie. Then I could see both of the quarterbacks getting there, but otherwise they're just so expensive. It's going to be hard to fit both stacks in. So yeah, I could see Mahomes stacks not getting there for that reason.
Trey McKitty, 12.5% to be in the optimal. Fucking blow my mind. What is going on?
Yeah, I would love to see the input assumptions on him. So let's see what they're giving
inputs.
Him for target
Trey
share.
McKitty. Let's see.
6.6% target share or 5.1% touchdown market share. I mean, that feels optimistic.
I mean,
1 in 20.
The first three letters of optimal and the first three letters of optimistic are the same, sir. Actually, more than that. Like just roll with it, okay? Okay. So, here is a big thing I love to do in games like this. In a game where there's going to be a shootout, I feel so often because so many of the high-level players get there, I love to take a punt wide receiver and put them at captain, right? Whether that's McCole Hardman, I guess MSV to a less extent, DeAndre Carter, just, basically just one guy that could catch your 64-yard touchdown, maybe get 3 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. Like if you have them and they're like Sky Moore is a perfect example, right? If he gets there with if he gets 3 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown at 1,800 and you have him in the captain spot, the rest of your lineup, you can basically go stack all the other nuts plays, right? Well, what we presume to be the nuts plays. Do you have a hot take on if that is a smart or a dumb play?
No, I think if you think that those guys can hit a ceiling for their outcome, it definitely gives you an opportunity to jam in those studs and hit like a truly ceiling score. The only concern I have with that type of build is it tends to funnel you into the same type of builds that everyone that puts a cheap captain up there. But if you can, build a unique roster or at least a somewhat unique roster with the cheap captain that you like, that's definitely a viable strategy, especially because their captain ownership will be pretty low or be very low.
Right. And
So you won't be competing against a ton of people.
the problem is when people go put that cheap guy in the captain, they want to then go fill up the rest of their salary with 5 studs. I know, I've done it. And so when you do that and you go put, I don't know, let's just use Sky Moore as the example, right? He got drafted up a lot in best ball. People still want to believe he's going to be good. So you go put Sky Moore at the captain. You've just spent $2,700. You basically can spend what on your last 6 spots, something like $9,000 per player, right? Even more than that. So that basically frees up you to get any 4 studs you want and another really good player. And when you're doing that, you're going to end up probably picking the same 5 players that almost everybody else that picks Sky Moore as their captain is going to pick. And so you basically are losing all of your creativity to do it, unless you want to go live 8,000 on the table or 5,000 on the table. But then that would beg the question, if you're going to leave 5,000 on the table, why not just move Sky Moore to one of your flex plays and go move a better play up to your captain mode?
That's exactly the analysis. Yeah, I like that thought. So I probably am hesitant to probably play a cheapy captain. I'm probably more likely to play stud captain here and get cheap in one of my flex spots.
Okay, you have to pick the nuts captain, or a guy's gonna kick you in the nuts. Just a random dude from Russia in a bad mood. Who is the one captain that you would like definitely want to put as your captain in the majority of your rosters, and why?
Kelsey, because I think he has a ceiling that no one else in this game can match.
Okay, which is like I believe 87 points, because that's what he seems to get every week.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think his ceiling is unmatched. I mean, I guess like in theory, Juju probably has a pretty similar ceiling, but I just don't think he's like can get the same target share that Kelsey can. He's got familiarity with Mahomes. He's a big target. He's a red zone target. Like I would say maybe Mike Williams, but his performance last week was concerning. But he also shows like uber ceiling. So I guess those would probably be my 2 guys that I think in terms of big field GPPs have the most ceiling besides the quarterbacks, but I don't tend to play a lot of quarterback captain.
Yeah, quarterback captain. Get the fuck out of here. So let me ask you this. Who is I'm a big week 2 guy just because I love the bounce back narrative. How much
100%.
are you warm to the idea of Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Juju Smith-Schuster, who all had, I think, what most people would consider disappointing week 1s? How much does that increase your interest in them? Just because, in theory, you'll get a discount ownership for them.
Yeah, I think it is a case by case. You want to see why they maybe didn't get their week 1. Like in the case of the Chiefs that didn't get there, like Juju particularly. That game got so out of hand so fast that they didn't need to play Juju. I mean,
and he had 2 fumbles.
Well, okay, well,
that doesn't help either, Bob.
But yeah, I think that game got out of hand to the point where they just didn't need to play their studs like that. So I would forgive the Chiefs players now. Like Mike Williams that didn't get there, his situation's also different because Keenan Allen now won't be there, so he's going to step forced into the number 1 role. So he's another one that I'm willing to forgive. And there's actually quite a few spots on main slate we can talk about on, I guess, Thursday or Friday whenever we do our main slate breakdown. But there are quite a few spots in the main slate that I'd like to see bounce backs in. And there's definitely like cases to be made for each guy. But someone that just maybe didn't get the usage, like Eckler, Eckler's usage was a lot less than people that drafted him like in the top 6 picks in best ball thought his usage would be.
Yeah, for that salary, his usage was disgusting. I don't think any wise man would disagree with that. So, all right, if we've already talked about Mahomes, let's talk about the running backs. Are you in on the Chiefs running backs, or is this just a great chance to fade and probably block out over half the field if none of those running backs get there?
I'm definitely not playing a Chiefs running back. Well, I don't want to say definitely. I'm most likely not playing a Chiefs running back captain. If I play a Chiefs running back at all, it'd be CEH. I think he showed early in the game before it got out of hand that he's going to be the featured back.
I assume CEH is short for Isaiah Pacheco. Is that what that stands for? I don't know my acronyms very well.
Exactly. No, but Pacheco came in at the end of the game when it was out of hand and got that touchdown. But
this is going to be a competitive game. This will be a competitive game.
Would expect it to be a competitive game. Vegas sure thinks it's going to be a competitive game. If Kansas City comes out and boat races the Chiefs, I mean, you can go ahead and give them the trophy now, right?
I mean, have you noticed how disgusting the misprice on Jerick McKinnon is? You got a third down back that's at 2,600. Get the fuck out of here, DraftKings. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Like, he's going to be so chalky just because of that price.
A sneaky captain. Like that, if you talk about doing a cheap wide receiver, I actually like cheap Jerick McKinnon captain better than a cheap wide receiver.
All he needs to do is get 5 catches for 42 yards and 1 touchdown receiving, and he's just fucking nuts. I mean, that's going to be a great game at 2,600.
Yeah, I actually think that's actually a pretty sneaky captain spot now that we were just talking through that, especially because, I mean, CEH hasn't shown us anything to say he needs to be the man.
So after you just said CEH is the one guy you're going to play, you want to amend that to say Jerick McKinnon.
I did not say he was going to be the one guy I was going to play. I said the 2 homeboys. I said Kelsey and Mike Williams.
You realize we're recording here, right? Like, it's all on record. It's on record. You can't fucking lie to the big guy.
My CEH take was I was not playing him in captain, and I may play him in the flex.
All right, so you already kind of shit on my dreams of playing a punt wide receiver from the Chiefs. What are your thoughts about playing a punt wide receiver from the Chargers, specifically Palmer and Carter? I think, being under like 5,000 and 4,600, I think they both classify as, punt worthy, right? Because, I mean, even at the 1.5x, you're only spending 7,500. If you're only spending 7,500 on your captain, you got a lot of free money, brother.
I like Palmer quite a bit as a captain if you're talking about doing a cheap one, because he's stepping into an increased role that we don't necessarily know what his role is going to be. Maybe Mike Williams lost a step or something's wrong with Mike Williams and Palmer's going to run as the one and get a 25% target share or something crazy. I actually like experimenting a bit with the Chargers side of the ball in terms of wide receivers. Back up to the Chiefs, though, let me clear the record. I don't hate the idea of a cheap wide receiver. There's just not one I would play. Like, I wouldn't captain Sky Moore. His usage was terrible.
He didn't even get in until scrub time.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't captain him. And then if you're talking about like Hardman or MBS, I'd probably just rather go to the Palmer side of the ball.
If I can tell you this, if I can just look at the stats, I will tell you MSV, excuse me, had a couple drinks.
No, it's MVS.
MVS. Jesus Christ. I've had drinks that I'm even correcting myself when I'm not wrong. MVS, he was on the field. He was legit their second receiver almost the entire game. His routes run and his rate just being on the field. Because, like as I told you the other night, did you know the sneaky statistic? Your guy can't score unless he's on the field. And
so hard.
Yeah. And so MVS is on the field the whole time. They're treating him like a true second receiver. And at 6,400 in this game environment at a modest ownership, to me, that's the sneaky play. Him and Palmer are the sneaky plays at captain because I think they're going to be on the field enough to justify it. They're not guys that have to get it all done in one play. They're guys that can get it done throughout the flow of a game and keep your lineup unique enough that you will have some freedom to go pack some other studs in and maybe one other punt in the flex, and now you've got a real lineup that could take it down. That's my take.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analysis. I like that wide receiver 2, RB2, either of those captains. You can get different from the field, build a little bit more stud into your roster, and give yourself a chance to ship.
So the fact that Austin Eckler is clearly overpriced versus what we're expecting from him, that doesn't make you any more interested. Just because, like, we know I cannot see a way his ownership gets over 35%.
Oh, always. I'm always down to pay up to be contrarian, but at a certain point you have to fade somebody. And so I don't know that it'll be Eckler, but he is definitely leading my candidates for someone I'll be fading. His high salary coupled with his not limited usage. I mean, he got like 50-something% of the route the rushes, but still, I think that would be someone I'm leaning towards fading, actually.
All right. We're going to – last 3 things we'll talk about, the 3 slapdick positions. Tight end. We've already talked about Kelsey. Do we like any backup tight ends? Do we like Noah Gray from Kansas City or anything? Or are you warm to Gerald Everett? 4,800 for a guy that didn't run that many routes is a little concerning to me. I know he caught a touchdown week 1, but I don't know.
I'll definitely mess around with Gerald Everett. I think tight ends in general come in under not a tight end like Kelsey, since he's like the tight end. But aside from Kelsey, I think tight ends generally come in under owned. So I don't mind getting to Everett in lineups where I'm playing Herbert.
Do you see my screen here where Travis Kelsey, they have him projected at only 34% total ownership? Please let that be the case.
Wrong.
Please let that may be a hair optimistic run the Sims. All right, and then the last thing we always got to talk about, kickers and defense. In a game that we are anticipating being a shootout, John, do you think that kickers or defenses are viable? And if so, which one specifically are you interested in?
So, I mean, as a general rule in high scoring games, the defenses aren't viable, but also in the the taking down large field GPPs and showdown mentality, that's what makes them viable again, almost. If that makes any sense. And so I'll probably throw in
Didn't a kicker captain already win a GPP, one of the showdown GPPs so far? I thought I saw Osimo shitting on those
defense.
people. It was a defense.
Defense
Okay, my
captain
bad.
won. Yeah, the Bills captain won the first showdown slate.
Right. So gross.
No, the kickers can get there in high scoring games too. They just have more opportunities in high scoring games. The only thing at this point is because we talked about those couple of wide receivers that are similarly priced, at least like within $1,000 there. I think you run into the in a high scoring game, the cheaper guys can outscore the kickers so much more often.
Yep.
The reasons kickers can get there in like those mid tier or even low scoring games is they just tend to outscore the lower priced guys that they're priced around. Where here, I think there's a real opportunity that some of these lower priced guys that are similarly ish priced can just blow them out of the water in a high scoring game.
Last thing I want to hit on before we get the F out of here. Contest selection. You specifically told me because we both play large bankrolls, but you love to like max enter these showdowns, and you said you're going to get away from spamming the main contest with a full 150. So what are some things you're looking to maybe invest in playing more if you're going to get away from maxing that every time?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play all the single entries up to like the $200 single entry probably, and then all of I think there's a good 20 max on this slate. I want to say.
Is it I assume we're not. I wish they would do a $20 20 max. That would be my dream, but they always do this $3 20 max, which is a really decent contest. But it's 10% to first and then 1% to 10th. I love that. So I really like that contest, but man, I have a hard time getting focused for a fucking $3 lineup.
Well, so what I like about that, and even the $1, or I mean, if you're on a limited bankroll, the mini max, is it lets you build rosters for big field contests, and you can see one what it takes to win those contests, and two what it takes to get different in those contests.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just kind of paying attention to showdown slates, and I've actually because albeit been off to a rough start in showdown this so far. Like I've had a pretty good main slate, or 1 week of main slate, but Showdown hasn't been the best, so that's why I was kind of rethinking max entering the big field. So it's just an opportunity to kind of reassess your strategy or build a strategy if you don't have a strategy from the beginning. And the really big fields are a unique animal. You really can't just fire lineups. You'll be so duplicated that you're just killing all your EV. And so the $3 I think gives you an opportunity to like be brave. If like you say you can't get up for a $3 lineup, well, fuck, can you get up for 40K up top? So build some lineup that doesn't make sense and take a chance to ship 40K. Like go play the Chargers defense versus the Chiefs, and like what if Mahomes wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and doesn't play well, and the Chargers come out and just crush them, and the Chargers defense scores twice and whatever. I mean, no one's going to play that lineup, and you can solo ship 40K.
Here's what
that's the awesome thing about Showdown.
Here's what I like about the 20 max. I feel like 20 max is the perfect number to play your script. Whatever you think your script's going to be. The Chargers run away with it. It's a shootout. The whatever, a low scoring game, the Chiefs blow them out, whatever you think your narrative is. I feel like 20 lineups is a good number to mix and match the pool of players that can fit the script that you were thinking might happen. And that's really why I really like these 20 maxes. And I wish they would just do a $20 20 max instead of a $3 20 max and just multiply all these times 6 or 7. That would be perfect. I would be all in on that.
I'd be super down for that as well.
Yeah, but they don't give a fuck about us upper level players. They gotta bring in the noobs during the NFL season. All right, you got any closing thoughts?
I'll degen my way into that $15 there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we can say we're not gonna play it, but what we'll do is we'll go play all our lineups in these other ones. We'll go make our 20, 30 lineups in this, and then we'll go throw all those on the 15 because that's the real degen play to do.
Are you watching my every time I register for Showdown? Damn it!
Absolutely, I got your fucking phone hacked. You better call AT&T, brother. Okay, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. This is an awesome game. Really looking forward to just watching it as a fan, but definitely going to be putting some money on Showdown lineups.
If you want in-depth breakdown of our Showdown and our week-long and all the stuff we do, we have a Discord where you can come join. Just go see it in the details right here. It's connected through the Patreon. We have, like, you can see a little red thing there, but that's somebody else joining. We have, we're working towards 300 people. It's a great community, cool people. I think you would like it. Come check it out. If not, just come slip into my DMs over on Twitter. I try to never big dog anybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you kick ass tomorrow, but most importantly, I hope you enjoy my outro, you motherfather.